Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 41. And let's be ready to be disturbed today. We're in Luke chapter 19. We're in a passage called the 10 minas, and these are amount of money, maybe $10,000 or $15,000, that a parable is being told where a master goes away. He's inheriting a kingdom, and by the time he comes back, he charges them with this critical thing. He says, engage in business until I come. He gives it to a bunch of people. There's an accounting. One guy with his one mina makes 10, another one mina guy makes 5, and that's all well and good. So that's the good news. We talked about that yesterday. The bad news is the citizens of the kingdom, the non-mina guys, they send a delegation. They hate the king, and they say, we do not want this man to reign over us. Of course, who wants to have anybody be the boss of them, I suppose. So they are punished at the end. In fact, the word is they are slaughtered. I'm going to read the last word of the passage. But as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slaughter them before me. So the question today is slaughtering. Is that just? ? Or if you want to get snarky, slaughtering, comma, don't you just love the Bible? So let's jump into the story. The second man came saying, Lord, your mina has made 5 minas. This is verse 18 of Luke chapter 19. And he said to him, you are to be over 5 cities. So he gives this tremendous reward of authority over 5 cities for being faithful in this very little thing. And another came, and this is the bad guy in the story, saying, Lord, here is your mina which I kept and laid away in a handkerchief. So he's disobeyed the call to engage in business until I come. So he puts it in a hanky, puts it in a drawer, and then he explains his wrong thinking. So what he accuses the king of being here, the king is not. So here's the wrong accusation. I was afraid of you because you are a severe man. You take what you did not deposit and reap what you did not sow, which is just not true, and makes me think of the passage in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 4:7. What do you have that you did not receive? If you then received it, why do you boast as if you did not receive it? So he makes a wrong accusation about the master. And the master says, he said to him, I will condemn you with your own words, you wicked servant. You knew that I was a severe man, taking what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow. He has that in little air quotes there. He's echoing his accusation. And then he says, why then did you not put the money in the bank, and at my coming I might have collected it with interest? And then here's the judgment part. I wanted to get to this. Verse 24. And he said to those who stood by, take the mina from him and give it to the one who has 10 minas. It just makes a certain amount of sense. So the person who is faithful is being rewarded and also entrusted. That's all that makes sense. And then you get the complaints, and this is where I wanted to go with today. You get the complaints from the people, and they said to him, Lord, he has 10 minas. He's already got $165,000. And they're saying, this is not fair. This is not just. And the master says, I tell you that to everyone who has, more will be given. Actually, this is Jesus speaking. So now the parable is over. He's speaking outside the parable. I tell you that to everyone who has, more will be given, but from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And I got to tell you, this seems a little unjust. And then the final verse, but as for these enemies of mine who do not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slaughter them before me. So as this story sets up, we have a good group of people. It's the people that are faithful in a little. They become faithful in a lot because the Lord entrusts a lot to them. And everybody in the story is being tasked with the right attitude, and there are those who have the wrong attitude. And these citizens who hate him just from the beginning, they send a delegation. There's one thing about hating him, but these people form a committee, they send a delegation, they make a proclamation. So for you, I just want to say, for you people who are listening that disagree with me, I thank you for listening, and I am grateful for your consideration. Thank you for not making a committee and sending a delegation and actually considering a different way of thinking. All right. Certainly the king is serious, and being a believer is a serious business, and we need to guard our knowledge and make sure that our knowledge is correct. And these accusations of the master about not sowing and are not correct, because he's actually the source of it all. And let's be careful that delayed judgment does not equal justice denied. So here's what I wanted to think about today. Is in heaven, is anybody saying, Lord, you are unjust? The answer to that, I'll give you the short answer, is no. In heaven, everybody is saying, this is from Revelation 16:7. Yes, Lord God the Almighty, true and just is your judgment, and just before that, it is what they deserve. So even though we may not think, so in heaven, nobody is going to get what they don't deserve. And everybody is going to get what they do deserve. Lord, your judgments are true. The kingdom is yours. The amazing thing about this is, in heaven, everybody's going to get justice. And nobody's going to be looking saying, oh, wow, slaughter at the end of the story? 10 minas, giving more to a person, rewarding a person? Nobody is going to be saying, Lord, you're unjust for that. I think that's part of the story. The amazing part about this is that some people in heaven are going to get less than they deserve. What? They are going to get mercy. Well, how is that possible? And that is the substitution. Somebody's going to get justice. It's just that the justice is done on a substitute person, and that's the person of Christ. That's the amazing thing about heaven. It's not that nobody isn't going to get justice. Everybody's going to get justice. It's just that some people get a substitutionary justice, and that's on Jesus. That's the amazing thing. That makes us put our hand over our mouth. So when we see that some are rewarded and some are slaughtered here at the end of the story, we are going to agree with God. Yep, that's just. The thing that's going to amaze us and put our hands over the mouth is that Jesus is going to get some of the judgment in heaven.